Uh, February 3, 2026. I mean, if you were holding IT advisory stock that morning, you probably needed a stiff drink by noon.
Yeah, a really stiff drink. It was an absolute bloodbath.
Right. We're talking about unshakable giants here.
Hmm.
The firms that literally decide which tech is valid, just watching their value nosedive over 20% in a single trading session.
It was crazy. And the weirdest part, it happened right in the middle of a boom.
Yeah.
I mean, global IT spending is projected to hit something like 6.15 trillion this year.
Right, up almost 11%. So companies are just shoveling money into tech.
Exactly. They are spending heavily, but the firms advising them on that spending are hemorrhaging value.
So that is our mission for this deep dive. We need to decode this paradox. Why is the so-called magic quadrant era effectively ending? And how is generative AI basically dismantling the business model of professional knowledge?
Well, to really see why, you just have to look at the Q4 2025 earnings from the premier legacy firm in the space. Net income plummeted 39%.
Wow, 39.
Yeah, and earnings per share dropped 34%.
Those are catastrophe numbers.
Yeah.
But honestly, looking at their business model, it's not super surprising.
Not at all.
They've been selling these incredibly expensive seat-based subscriptions for decades. You pay 6 figures so 3 people in your office can access a static library of PDFs.
Exactly. And that old model relied heavily on junior analysts doing basic synthesis, aggregating data, summarizing market trends.
Which is exactly what generative AI does for free now. I mean, if I'm a CIO, why am I paying a premium for a human to summarize a vendor list when my internal AI can do it in 4 seconds?
You wouldn't. Clients aren't going to pay for commodity synthesis anymore.
Right.
And clearly, the legacy firms knew they were in trouble because right around the time the stock tanked, they made a really desperate move. They sold off their digital markets division.
Right, that was Capterra, Software Advice, GetApp.
All of it. They sold it to their biggest competitor, G2.
That decision still blows my mind. I mean, when you're desperate for cash, sure, you sell the furniture. But they didn't just sell the furniture. They sold the front door to their whole business.
They absolutely did. They effectively handed over the entire discovery phase of software buying to G2. G2 now controls roughly 55% of software review visibility.
Which means the legacy fund totally surrendered the data layer.
Yeah.
They doubled down on this top-down expert opinion, smart people in a room telling you what to buy.
Yep, while giving G2 all the bottom-up user telemetry. Millions of actual user reviews.
And if you're building an AI model to predict market trends, you don't want the opinion of one analyst in a PDF. You want the raw data from a million users.
Yeah.
G2 has the fuel for the algorithms.
While the legacy firm just has opinions. And that distinction is fatal right now. We're seeing a full-blown sauce-apocalypse in advisory budgets.
Because CIOs are aggressively cutting low ROI advisory subscriptions, they have to find the money to buy expensive AI infrastructure instead.
Exactly, chips and cloud compute. And it highlights a massive hypocrisy trap for the advisors. They spend all day telling clients to move to consumption-based pricing.
Paying for what you actually use.
Right. But meanwhile, they are still charging these rigid, expensive named user licenses. You pay whether you read their reports or not. It makes them look completely out of touch.
It really does. But the real nail in the coffin isn't just the pricing model. It's who is actually doing the buying now.
Yes. The forecast shows that by 2028, 90% of B2B buying will be intermediated by AI agents.
That is the part that keeps me up at night. We aren't talking about a human reading a report to make a decision anymore. We are talking about an autonomous agent tasked with buying a CRM.
Correct. And AI agents do not care about branding. They certainly don't read magic quadrants. They query APIs. They look for machine-readable data streams.
Think about it. A PDF is designed for human eyes. It has layout, fonts, branding. To an AI agent, all of that is just friction. If you force an AI to read a PDF to get your research, you are basically asking it to use a fax machine.
That is a perfect analogy. If your research isn't a data stream accessible via API, then to an AI buyer, you literally do not exist. You are invisible.
So the only survival path here is a total pivot. They have to stop being a library of static research and start being a dynamic telemetry feed.
They have to focus on ecosystem orchestration. If they don't, the market will simply route right around them.
Which leaves you with a final, slightly uncomfortable thought to explore on your own. If the next major software purchase at your company is negotiated entirely by an AI agent using API data, does the concept of a prestige brand even exist anymore?